LGBTQ people in the United States are under attack. It can feel extremely hard to keep up with the whirlwind of policies, statements, executive orders, and attacks that are being thrown out, and to know what's what sticks where, who believes which. The Trump administration's cut anything it dubs DEI across the board, everything, including NPR, USAID, PBS budgets, anything about queerness. Any mentions of queer people from federal websites are being expunged, including one incident where they seem to have word searched the concept of bisexuality, which led to some funny blanks on
This is
certain
by
websites.
erasure.
Yeah, finally by erasure. Uh, this includes, in particular, attacks on institutions of higher education, libraries, K through 12 schools, an assault that really came onto all our radars with the Moms for Liberty AstroTurf movement that stormed school board movings all over the U.S., demanding woke books be removed from our schools. While Moms for Liberty hit a wall, dubbed too weird by the general public, this movement has spread to every corner of the right wing, leading to vigilante campaigns from groups such as TPUSA, who is currently leading a crusade against trans teachers in Oklahoma under the banner of the worst essay of all time. Sites such as Kiwi Farm, 4chan, He Cheated, organizing campaigns to drive trans people from daily life. No doubt about it, the Trump administration is the most vocally anti-trans admin in history. Right off the gate in office, he signed an executive order against transgender ideology extremism. The phrase, the Democrats want open borders and transgender for everybody, has become a Trump staple so much that stating opposition to, and I quote, transgender for everybody is now on the White House website. To talk about this, we've brought on an expert in transgender for everybody, Pigeon from the Two Wits, One Cup podcast.
Oh my goodness. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here as the resident trans person of Two Wits, One Cup. It was only fitting that we come on and have a little, a gab sesh about
Yeah.
how horrible everything is.
Transgender for everybody is like one of those Trump brainworms that is just stuck in me. Transgender for everybody. It's just like
Many such cases.
such a way of saying things, isn't it?
Is this like an AA meeting where I have to be like, "Hi, I'm Pigeon and I am a transgender radical extremist"?
I think people just assume if you're on the show that you're going to be some flavor of something. Pigeon, before we get going here, tell folks about your podcast. I have been on it, and it's a lot of fun. It's
Yes.
niche, but it's a niche that I think our listeners are interested in.
Unfortunately, the scary thing that we're finding is that those of us that grew up evangelical are probably in the millions at this point.
Right.
So, hi, I host a podcast with my wife and my good friend Parsnip and Percy. We talk about Adventures in Odyssey, which is a Christian children's radio drama published by Focus on the Family. If you like to hear us talk about how much we hate James Dobson and also critique this silly children's radio drama, it'd be really cool to have you hang out. Jacob's been on and it was so fun. Go back and listen to that one. We've got a Christmas special coming up soon, so it'd be cool to have you guys check that out.
Pigeon, we critique things. Now, of course, the episode I came on to talk about where they go to Israel, we had nothing negative to say about.
Oh, absolutely. No, there was no controversy whatsoever discussed. No, nothing of a G word at all. No.
It was surprisingly tasteful how James Dobson approached the subject.
I hear they're making
wasn't.
great strides in archaeology over there.
Oh, God. Well,
They're not working on their smuggling game, that is.
No doubt. Well, Lenore, Jen, how are y'all doing on this fine Tuesday evening?
I'm just waiting for my turn to transgender for me, like when is my time?
Well, Donald Trump is standing in the gap. They're coming for you. They're trying to trans your gender, Jen.
Oh yeah. I think we should take that slogan though. Transgender for everybody, like could very easily I think turn into like a woke thing, like everybody deserves
and it's
healthcare.
So easily,
I don't know.
It's so easily like a HRT through the mail campaign. It's ready. It's right there for it.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. Jen, you would be unstoppable on testosterone. You're unstoppable now. But
I can't wait to get the facial. I'm over 40. I got this weird hair right here that started coming in. So we're halfway there. Get that little shadow going.
Yeah.
I think I could rock it. Imagine the guns. Yeah.
The hills would quake with your power.
Yeah. I've been in the middle of a lot of admin stuff. I've been mildly crashing out over recent events. I just came back from going shooting. That helped. So
good stuff. You hit anything?
First time. A target once.
There you go.
That's good.
I love that.
It's been a couple years. I'm out of practice, but
Mm.
What'd you do? Rifles, handguns, a little bit of everything?
Handguns.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, no, I'm not going to say that.
Join your local socialist rifle association.
Yeah, no, definitely nothing wrong with some exercising the Second Amendment. It doesn't have to just be for the worst people in the world. So yeah, I think also that's like a great point, like a great thing to build on, Lenore, is that we are in this moment of attack on LGBT rights as well as many other rights in this country, and that, like, community defense is so important. Community education is so important. Us feeling strong and together, and like we have network and capacity is super important right now. So definitely something to keep in mind. I guess I'd say at the top of the show is we're gonna talk about some bleak shit today, but at the end of the day, like, you need to, like we said, you need to develop a community. You need to know who to call when something goes badly. There needs to be people that can call you when something goes badly. Like, that can be as large or as small as the situation demands. But the more organized we are, the better we are, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to just jump in the deep end here because there's something that's like not getting talked about at all that I'm extremely concerned about.
I'm like, it could be so many things. I can't wait to see what
which direction are we going?
Yeah, so this is I'm pulling here from Jacqueline Diaz from NPR, which NPR did a piece on this, but I have not seen. And longtime listeners of the show will know that I get my idea of what the mainstream news is covering by going to Planet Fitness exactly when the main hours are for mainstream television, peak viewing hours from 6 to about 8 p.m. And that is, and then I see Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and I get to sort of absorb what's being talked about. This,
brutal.
Not so much. They were mostly talking about Erica Kirk's CBS interview. Really good.
You're a comrade on the front lines. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was so sick. I was like,
Christian broadcasting system.
It's the things that matter.
She honestly, she's so easy to get an interview with. We could probably get her on the pod. Actually, I didn't tell you this, Jen. TPUSA asked if they could have somebody on our pod. Did I tell you? I told Lenore and I.
What?
Debate me, bro. Debate me, bro. Debate me. It won't end like the last time, I promise.
We got an email from like a TPUSA chapter or like guy who runs one, and he's like a pastor, and he's like, could my arguments change your audience's mind? And it's like,
you did mention this, yes.
The world will never know.
Yeah, I'm sick that day. That sounds horrible.
For a mere $10,000, you can.
Do they pay? Wait, I might hold on.
No, they didn't. They didn't offer us shit.
Of course not.
Well, so this is not getting talked about as far as I can tell. And I'm not even really seeing it in my feeds, but less than 2 weeks ago, the Department of Justice, I guess I should say right now too, we are going to talk about some pretty heavy stuff. So, content warning on that. I mean, but the Department of Justice officially was ordered to stop review of abuse of transgender inmates in prisons across the United States.
Specifically transgender
inmates.
It's
very specific in the memo. Now that there was some provisions for protection of people under the National Prison Rape Elimination Act. That's several decades old. And that act basically it's not like a super pro-trans act. It's just an act that says in general, hey, if there are groups that are more likely to get sexually assaulted in prison, like, keep an eye on that, is basically what it says. We already know that they haven't done a super great fucking job of that, as trans people are 5 times more likely to be sexually assaulted by staff and 9 times more by other inmates. And that's just what the Department of Justice reports.
Mm-hmm.
State of California, I believe 2 in every 3 trans prisoners report having been sexually assaulted.
Right.
And that's with all this stuff in place.
That's California.
Yes. The order further hammers home no consideration of actual gender upon incarceration or special protections, check-ins, or even recourse for those incarcerated, wrong gender prison, or otherwise. So like that being, I think there's like that being like just a thing that like as soon as I started researching, I'm like it is essentially they were like, let's do an order that makes trans people get assaulted is so
Yeah.
fucking crazy to me. I don't
And
know.
it's the other angle of taking away healthcare too. You know, they were targeting other things and those things, but specifically with prison as well. They're not going to afford, you know, gender affirming surgery or probably even prescriptions to these individuals.
Yeah, it's like pulling teeth to get those. I mean, we talked about it on our 107 days episode, but even like Kamala Harris was like on state behalf of the state of California was fighting to keep trans people from being able to have like gender affirming care in prison. Like
And
this is
it
not,
seems like, you know, it's only a word away from probably the scariest thing to a Republican is like, oh, you have a prisoner. And then, oh, they're trans. Like, they're a communist and their head might explode.
Oh yeah. I remember when Trump said they were giving free gender reassignment surgeries to illegal aliens in prison. And I was like, horrible thing to say, but also like the most Mad Libs ass shit I ever heard in my life.
It is, yes, but it's very also of a piece with, back when Tucker Carlson had his show on Fox News, right? What was like the last big furor before he left? He was talking up how, all the baby formula shortages because they're giving them to illegal immigrants at the southern border. And it's like, no, what was going on is the companies were not going through proper health procedures, and that was leading to shortages. At the same time, totally unrelated, there is a bare minimum of nutrition that you have to provide people that are in the custody of the states. And that's what was going on. And that's what they're doing right now is they are whipping people up against even that bare minimum, which again, to go back to gender affirming care, right? It is healthcare. Just like any other healthcare that you would receive in prison to maintain your physical stability, your mental stability. The idea that it's some kind of boutique thing that you can opt into or out of and be fine is a fabrication, and it is one that I think is being unwittingly played into by the liberal conception of trans rights, which is that it's a free expression thing rather than a bodily autonomy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
rather than a healthcare thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, Lenore, I get what you're saying about the baby formula shortage. However, I have gotten reports that there is a giant white South African baby that is eating all the
food. Like Stalin with the big spoon. He ate all the grain.
It's an African.
That's what Death Stranding 2 was about. God.
Yes, it's an Afrikaner baby that is like 10 stories tall. Elon Musk has had too many children, and finally they produced, like the mega child. Yeah, no, that's the presumably that's what happens. That's barely a parody. I remember when Alex Jones was saying like we're being invaded by walruses and was holding up this giant pair of shorts and said this is what the average illegal alien wears, and it was like the.
I'm gonna show you the biggest pair of underwear you've ever seen.
Literally, it's such a good video. Like.
We're being overrun at the coast by walruses, and y'all better check on the carpenters. I hear they're in league.
I bet we could get him on.
He's
local.
So
he could come here and do it in person.
Fuck yeah,
that's right.
So boring. He's so boring now because he just has to support the government now, and that's boring.
Because he owes millions.
Yeah, and he just has to be like Donald Trump is good. No conspiracies are happening. It's like Alex, this isn't you.
To bring it back around to the horrible topic at hand, something that also worries me about this is, like you mentioned, like you haven't heard about this on the mainstream news, and I think we know that like the Democrats are more than willing to throw trans people under the bus. They've been doing it for a while now. I also see liberals online, so like not people in power, just your regular liberal civilian, love to make like prison rape jokes as if that's like a funny thing, like
True.
I know in the 90s people did drop the soap jokes, but I thought that we had realized how fucked up that is and don't do it anymore. And so I think that it's so easy for people, for liberals to just like not care about what happens to people in prison, and that's why it is the way it is. That's why our prisons are horrible torture bastions of slavery, because like
Go read
they think they deserve
Propaganda
it.
by Alucard Katsanis for more about that.
Yes.
Or listen to our interview with him.
Yeah, I think that people so much think that even the sexual assault in prison is like part of the punishment process. Well, you shouldn't have done the crime if you didn't want these other horrible things to happen to you. And like, man, the cultural revolution when it comes to this land is gonna be so fucking brutal. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
This was I do remember there being somewhat of a furor about this earlier in the year. FUROR.
Yeah, you keep saying that
Well,
word.
yeah, you've gotta specify these days, Lenore.
You know, if you go back through our episode history, like I stick on certain words like from week to week, and I would really prefer it not to be that one. So yeah, there was an uproar
Lenore,
about.
the thing is, yeah, you have words that you stick on, and I have like you can tell what video game I've been playing. That's the two things.
And yet somehow you're the better red one. But yeah, the
Red was one. Is this
true? But yeah, there was an uproar about this earlier this year. I believe this was discussed earlier the year as being in the cards, and now it's going into effect. But the fact that it's the fact that it died down in the mainstream media between now and then is I mean it's an indictment of where people's attention is focused by these apparatuses.
Or not even, because like nobody gives a shit about Erica Kirk. I'm sorry, but like CBS is still like, look, it's everybody's favorite person, and she's on TV being like, I just think it's bad when people make jokes about political violence. Please don't look at Donald Trump.
To the extent that she belongs in one level of hell over another, I give a shit about her.
The only consideration that they're worth, at least.
Okay, well, that's a good question. Which level of hell is Erica Kirk going to?
Heresy.
Heresy?
That's a good one. Oh, I haven't read the Inferno in so long. Hold on.
I've been read that since college.
Any level of hell except the first one, because the first one is just like it sucks, but like you're not being actively tortured.
The
I feel
outside
like Fraud could be good.
Fraud. Okay. Fraud is pretty good.
I don't know. There's something about Erica Kirk that like just screams Kenneth Copeland, and I don't know why. That there's just this intensity about them. I'm like, there's something sinister going on.
It's the eyes.
Yes.
There's something in the eyes.
The number of posts that I've seen on Blue Sky that are just like zoomed in on her face. I feel like she's the inheritor of the Charlie Kirk face meme.
Well, I think what's interesting about her is, to connect it to topic a little bit. There's a whole, I'm saying this like I've got an article on it. I don't, but there is like a whole subsection of Republicans now that are transvestigating her. And I like it comes for them. It comes for all eventually.
It's so funny.
I can't wait to get I can't wait to for the transvestigation to just start coming for just like random people. I think that's gonna be cool. I want to get transvestigated. I want to find out what feminine traits I have.
Well, it's like they keep spamming their ult, and so they're just gonna keep hitting people like for randomly. Like eventually, she's gonna get caught up.
I once saw J.K. Rowling get transvestigated, and I was like, we've come full circle.
Mr. Jonathan Conathan Rowling. Oh wow!
Believe it or not, the K doesn't stand for anything.
Yeah, you should go back and listen to y'all's Harry Potter episodes. That's what I've been doing lately.
Oh yeah,
so fun. Well,
did y'all do the whole series?
We did 3 episodes total on Harry Potter. We did 2 of the books, and then we did the play she wrote afterwards, and like kind of a whole thing about her like post Harry Potter career.
Y'all just torture yourselves sometimes.
Harry Potter, compared to what we're reading for next week, is eminently readable. Let me
teaser.
LA Confidential, talk about police brutality. Holy shit. It's like, well, the police are bad sons of bitches, but they do what they got to do. It's like, do they? I don't know.
I mean, what they got to do is protecting capital. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's partially the thing with this. Like, you think trans healthcare in prison is kind of niche and affects a very small portion of the population, but they are actively expanding who gets to be called a terrorist, and this radical transgender ideology and like having is allegedly anti-American, and there are a lot of people getting swept up by ICE as they have to meet these arbitrary quotas. So we're going to see a lot of people within the prison system, and not to like dox myself or anything, but like I was arrested over the summer and I felt really nervous about disclosing that I was taking hormone replacement therapy and whether or not I would be mistreated because I'm trans. Like, luckily, everything ended up being okay, but there's going to be a lot more contact with these horrible systems that we have yet to take care of.
No doubt. And I think some of that surveillance is we're going to get into shortly. Okay, so next, I've been doing, and this connects directly to what we've been saying. I've been doing my reading. Everyone, I would like everyone listening just to know that I spent so much time on Congress.gov today, so you didn't have to. So yeah, also respect to respect to some people who did some write-ups, but I did read most of this fucking bill. So you're welcome.
Tour guide Jacob giving us the fast pass version. I love it.
Yes, the fast pass. I am Dante taking you through hell right now.
Disneyland fast pass, say the bells of St. Jackass.
No doubt.
That's been on my mind since 1984. It means nothing.
Or does it mean everything that I've done? Senate Bill 1071. It's a bill to disinter a serial killer from a military cemetery. Sounds normal, right? That seems like a good thing we should do. We shouldn't have a guy buried in a place of honor who's a serial killer. Sponsored by John Cornyn of Texas, a guy that we know never gets up to any trouble, right, Jen? Jen, as the local Texan, can you tell us anything about this guy? He's I'm sure a good and upstanding citizen.
I actually talked a little bit about him last week. He is the one that I met when I was doing those pro-abortion Capitol Hill days. He is taller than Jacob. He's probably like 6'7". He has.
Whoa.
I know that the lizard people thing is like a. Oh, I said that, didn't I? Fuck! I didn't even mean to.
Clip that.
God damn it. He has see-through skin like a gecko. The thing is he doesn't get the hate that he deserves because Ted Cruz is right there. Sure. And so Ted Cruz is the loud one, right? He's the one that's always on TV. He's always talking shit. He gets the attention, whereas John Cornyn is at least as horrible as Ted Cruz is. I think he's actually a lot smarter than Ted Cruz is, and therefore so much more sinister. So he's like quietly behind the scenes doing the evil. I mean, I've even seen people online with this whole like discussion of Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico running for Senate. People are like, well, someone's got to beat Ted Cruz. I'm like, that's not even who they would be running against. Like, it's John Cornyn.
Beat Ted Cruz with
a pillow,
facts
something
and
soft.
Logic.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, like that one guy who got on a flight with Ted Cruz and like yelled at him the whole time. I don't know if y'all seen that video.
Love it.
Anyway, you are exactly right about this guy being nefarious because again, the bill sounds fairly like, yeah, that seems like a thing we should do. I mean, I'll bet there's a lot of serial killers buried in military cemeteries, but
jokes on them. A lot of them already are serial killers.
Hey.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But, we can disinter him, but there's some more stuff in this bill. It became an omnibus bill because it was like, hey, if you don't vote for this, you're disrespecting the military. A lot of absurd defense spending, more investment in bioweapons, recruitment programs for people overseas to become mercenaries to fight Russians, required 4 military recruitments a year at public schools, a boatload of guns to Taiwan and Israel, more military pressure on Mexico, forbidding the government to close Guantanamo Bay for several more years. All concerning, worth discussing in their own right. But we should highlight something in particular because of today's topic. First off, the bill completely obliterates all DEI at the Department of War, which was essentially already gone. But it's giving Congress's stamp to this Trump administration policy. Then it comes to the attacks on the queer community. We have the first federally enforced, congressionally passed trans sports ban. This one is applying to trans women at Army, Navy, and Air Force. But it provides a framework that can be applied anywhere. I'm going to read from the text directly. It says, in general, the Secretary of Defense shall ensure that the United States Military Academy, the United States Naval Academy, and the United States Air Force Academy do not permit a person enrolled at such an academy whose sex is male to participate in an athletic program or activity that is designated for women or girls. The term sex hereby means a person's reproductive biology and genetics at birth, end quote. So why does this matter?
Don't join the military. Just
Yeah.
FYI.
Just to frame up our stance on this, like, our stance is not that there should be more trans people piloting drones and exploding weddings. Our stance is that this provides, as you said, Jacob, the framework for extending it to other areas of society.
Well, here's what's important. This is a federal definition of gender that does not include trans, non-binary, or intersex people at all.
Mm-hmm.
It is a federal sports ban that makes any sort of legal challenge to other sports bans almost impossible and provides a framework for other colleges.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, Democrats ate it right up.
Yep.
In fact, because numerous senators on the Republican side voted against it because they were mad about like something else in the bill. I forget the details. Something maybe about like Ukraine split. I'm not really sure. Ted Cruz actually voted against it, which is interesting. The girls are fighting, I guess.
Oh.
Ukraine split sounds like a speedrun tactic.
Yeah, it is. Ted Cruz is a speedrunner. It needed the Democrats to pass it. Well, 114 House Dems voted for it, and 28 Senate Democrats voted for it, including our own here in Georgia, Warnock and Ossoff, Chuck
28?
Schumer. Oh, yeah.
That all of them?
And other legends such as Tim Kaine, Amy Klobuchar, Mark Kelly, and Kirsten Gillibrand. I would say Kristen Gillibrand. And a lot more.
Still in the Senate? Holy shit.
Still kicking. So, I mean,
we are stuck with them forever. That's just how it goes.
Wow.
So,
Pigeon, remind us who are your senators?
Oh, honey, I live in Maine. This shit sucks. The fight to unseat Susan Collins is a nightmare. I feel like this race has been going on forever, and we still have so far to go.
Oh, y'all have the Nazi guy running against
Yeah,
her.
it's really fucking complicated.
Look, Pigeon, I didn't love Mockingjay, but it wasn't that bad. Sorry, that's a dumb joke. Susan
Hell
Collins.
yeah. I mean, it feels like the Hunger Games up here to get fucking healthcare these days.
Yeah. Distinct
anybody ask
Susan Collins and Suzanne Collins. Different people, folks.
I mean, I
Did
will say,
anybody ask these Democrats what the fuck? Like, why they supported this? Is it because Taiwan needs guns and nothing else matters? Or, like, what?
Well, some of the provisions were put in, like the bioweapons provision in the House was put in by a Democrat. So, like, I think if you pushed people on it, they would say no one has, so far as I can tell yet. Now, it just happened today. Maybe someone will. But I think so far as they can say is they just didn't want to vote against a thing that looked like it was disrespecting the military. But I'm sure they're not mad at the other stuff, especially seeing as like the party line seems to be very much wavering on transgender rights. It depends on who you're talking to. But what are our thoughts on this?
Yeah, you're seeing institutions crumble with a lot of these things, and this sounds like it's partnering with the Department of Education attacks and like the Title IX fights throughout all of that stuff. Again, here in Maine, there's like a ballot referendum talking about children in sports, and a absolutely reprehensible human being in our state legislature doxed a trans high school athlete for daring to get on a podium. How scary. So like this is a multi-pronged attack, and it makes sense that they would try to do it first, like at Army, at Navy, at Air Force, which by the way, that's out in Colorado Springs. Focus on the family headquarters. This is all kind of connected.
And again, like if you're the NCAA and someone wants to legally challenge an NCAA anti-trans policy, all they can say is the U.S. government just has a federal definition of gender. They said works for the fucking Army, Navy, and Air Force. Why doesn't it work for everybody else? And the courts are already not going to be great on this issue for the most part. But if there was any leeway, how do you argue against that? Like, how do you argue against that on the level of legality?
And the private universities kowtowing anyway, especially on the anti-Palestine stuff. Like, anti-trans stuff is not far behind or often included in the same packages to get these people to kneel. You have to adopt this White House executive order about the definition of sex and gender, and trans people don't exist. Wild out here.
I mean, the Pride Alliance at the college I went to was dissolved by the college because and that's a state school.
They went ahead and just did it without having to be told to.
Sure seems that way, yeah.
Yeah.
And their website was like, well, we have a Pride corner in one of our buildings somewhere. And I'm like, all right.
Go to the corner and be proud over there.
The Pride corner is crazy. Hide in the Pride corner.
Mom
found the Pride corner.
Not to get all free speech absolutist about it, because I'm firmly against that sort of thing. But it's reminiscent of free speech zones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We also had one of those in Brother Jed Smock. Are any of y'all familiar with Jed Smock?
Jed Smock, isn't that thing that Borat said to say hello? Jed Smock.
Is that what you have to wear in the Pride corner? Is a Jed Smock?
It should be. Have any of y'all seen it was a classic Vine where there's a preacher and two guys kiss and he goes, "I'm gonna vomit."
No way.
It's Jed Smock, and he would come to our college all the fucking time and he would preach, and he had a signed list of things that send you to hell. And of course there were 7 different versions of gay on there. And we would all tag ourselves until the day someone finally stole the sign and it became a relic of the college being passed from dorm room to dorm room in secret. It was really cool. That was a good time.
I didn't expect him to be this old.
He's dead now.
Oh, thank God.
He died in Pride Month a couple of years ago.
Oh wait, was this Brother Jed of Brother Jed Christianity?
That's the one.
Okay. You have told me about this person.
He published a book that was just his Facebook posts.
That's amazing.
I kind of respect that, actually.
Why does he dress like a snake oil salesman? I mean, the answer is obvious, but...
Yeah.
Well, anyway, apologies to get off, but he off on that. But he was really cool. He did have a song that I will share with you. I'm not going to sing it because, but it's not okay to be gay. It's not okay to be a homo. It's not in your DNA. God says it's a real big no-no.
Oh my God.
So
legendary.
I never heard it put that way before. I'm straight now.
Yeah, it worked on me. I never sucked another cock. Except I will say Brother Jed's little assistant, Brother Mikhail, probably would have been down. Just judging by the guy, he was giving twink for sure. But
Jacob, of course, our resident proponent of flirt to convert.
Man, I can't wait to hear that song at the furry rave that we're gonna have at the Pride Corner. This is gonna be amazing.
So sick. It's
let's go.
Yeah,
I want to hear an EDM version of that, just ironically reclaimed,
remixed over the "We Are Charlie Kirk" song.
that era of YouTube where they auto-tuned everything.
It's got motion smoothing on it.
It's not okay to be gay Nightcore version.
I will say, just to finish off that story, the best thing that ever happened with that guy is there was one day where he was, he had stirred up quite a crowd by saying a bunch of offensive stuff in the middle of campus, and our school's not doing anything about it. And he at one point was just listing things that happen to you if you're sinful, and one of them is be diabetic, which is really specific. And anyway, one of the most beloved, he was a guy who worked at the dining hall, He's like one of the most beloved guys who works at the college. Mr. Jimmy, he worked there for like 40 something years. He's since retired. Son died of diabetes. And he was like passing by and like stopped. And Mr. Jimmy's just this older man who against all rules wore the same hat every single day and nobody could stop him. And he just like tore into them. And it was like, I'd never seen him angry in my life. And it was one of the most, and like, you just have all these college students hyping the fuck out of this guy who works at the school. It was beautiful. Who just works at the lunch line. And he was just like one of the best things I've ever seen in my life. It was really cool. And then he finished it out with, and if there's no gay people in heaven, that's not a heaven I want to go to.
Let's go.
And then he clarified to me later. He's like, I'm not gay, by the way. And I was like, it's okay, Mr. Jones.
Get him to the front of the workers' revolution. Let's go.
So sick. Anyway, cool. Does anyone else have anything on that particularly before I go into our next thing?
Solidarity to all of the trans people in the military. I hope you were able to get out as quick as you can.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the following pulls from Taylor Lorenz columns for Zetio, The Network Effect. Taylor Lorenz is somebody that I get mad at a lot online, and then she does like genuinely really good journalism. So, you know, what are you going to do? Let's see. And also I pull from Dia Kayali and Jasmine Menthani's fellows. They're fellows at Tech Policy Press, some of their writing, and Aisha Down at The Guardian. So kind of a combination of the three of them, this next section. And it comes back to what Pigeon was talking about earlier, is there is an increasing surveillance, building out an increasing police state to go along with this, making conditions in prison worse. So yeah, this stuff correlates really interestingly with online privacy and surveillance. So last week, a package of 18 bills positioned to the public as protecting children online was advanced by the House Committee on Energy and Commerce. So experts actually roundly oppose these bills that have been introduced, which ask for massive boosts in data given from users to private companies and the government, and more data sharing between government and private corporations, pictures of users' IDs across the board, and tracking children more closely, people who are known to be children users. These bills require more biometric data as well to use certain websites.
Of course.
And want to like track eye movements, things like that. At the time, we know the government is creating lists of its enemies and undesirables. Now, this is a global trend. Some countries have been doing this. Some states have already done this. Governor Gavin Newsom of California has signed bills that are sort of some of this into law, as have many states, such as Georgia has done some of this. And here's what it is. It says it's protecting children from obscene material. That's the definition in the bill is obscene material. Now, I think we can all agree there are a lot of things that children and also no one should see on the internet. I by no means am saying like, oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff like,
there should be some guardrails.
Do I trust this government to enforce that and to define what is and is not obscene? It's not remotely.
No.
especially when you see the sort of lobbying behind this stuff, you know.
Right.
We'll get into of course the whole Arlington thing, but Texas values not great people.
The thing is that's quite interesting is like, yeah, they're doing that, but they're basically putting it up to private companies to decide what is and is not obscene in correlation with government. This sort of dark private-public partnership. Last year, Repro Uncensored did a study and found so many instances of Meta alone, but other social media, but Meta was the worst offender, taking down pro-queer content and content on reproductive rights for being obscene.
And Meta, we will recall, we were discussing this earlier in the week, specifically has carve-outs for anti-trans rhetoric in its rules on conduct on Facebook. Like specifically, they say that given the charged environment around like religious attitudes towards transgenderism, that's the word that they use. Implications that like X group of people are mentally ill or that they're freaks, like is not considered to be against our terms of service.
they already pull like breastfeeding photos, you know, stuff like that as like grotesque or pornographic or whatever. Yeah, definitely don't trust Virgin Zuckerberg to know what is
Is this at
offensive.
all like an expansion off of like the banning of Pornhub and like needing to
It is.
upload your ID
Mhm.
to check stuff? Okay.
It's directly connected to that. So some of the state laws are connected to those sort of like it's the obscenity bans, right? To
Mhm.
see certain things that are
Yeah.
obscene, you have to prove that you are a certain age, which then it's like, okay, well, you can upload an ID, or you can upload, in some places like Discord, like some places that have restrictions on Discord are asking for like, send video of your face, and then like we'll know what you look like and we can guess how old you are. Now some people have gotten around that by posting videos of Geralt from The Witcher, which have for some reason worked on some of these apps. Like, this is still all very like not quite working how they want it to.
Provide a sample of your voice. Wind's howling.
Toss a coin. But and I want to note that like Meta was primarily taking down educational material when they were calling things obscene that were like related to stuff like abortion and queer rights. Now they remove certain things that violate their policy that maybe make more sense. But like these violations that Repro and Censored were finding there was a lot of stuff that just like how to be safe when
Right.
you're like
Yeah.
getting an abortion, especially as a trans person. They took down a bunch of stuff about like if you're trans and you're pregnant, there could be a lot of reasons that's quite dangerous. On top of maybe you just don't want the fucking kid, which is also fine.
Yeah.
Like, and they were taking down that as obscene.
Obscenity to them means everything from like the nastiest, hardcore, awful porn you've ever seen in your life to like genderqueer checked out from your library. That's
Right.
all the same to them. And they keep expanding what is and is not obscene. Like, that's why I find this new like terrorism classification so crazy, because it's this like radical gender ideology, anti-Americanism, that's anti-capitalism. Like, this is so very undefined and expansive when we need to be particular, particularly when we are talking about children and what they can and cannot access. We need to be really careful.
Exactly. I think like I'm all for like restrictions of like horrible shit that shouldn't be online. We all agree there should not be child pornography on the internet, and the law should say there shouldn't be child pornography on the internet. It shouldn't say there shouldn't be obscene stuff and then leave it up to some guy in an office what is or isn't obscene,
Right.
because we know what our ruling class thinks is or isn't obscene. They think trans people are obscene and fucking child pornography isn't actually.
That's how you get the
Based on what we're
whole
finding.
debanking phenomenon. Of course, if you're active in gaming circles or in independent literature circles, specifically queer literature, of course, debanking has been a big subject this year. We saw the mass removal or hiding of content on sites like itch.io, which are an outlet for independent publishing of artistic works, purely based on their content. Is some of it violent and disturbing? Sure, but that's what art is. Frequently, when you're speaking from from the experience of somebody who's made a monster by patriarchy.
Texas has one of those. Pornhub has been banned here for a couple of years, and some of those other websites.
Here too.
And look, I fuck Pornhub. I think they are a horrible entity. They share revenge porn. They have all kinds of terrible stuff.
Undoubtedly.
The way that went through is they wanted, it wasn't on the consumer's end, it was on the actor or whoever, they wanted proof that they were over 18, which I think is a good thing. That, and then that also makes sure that the actors are consenting to their stuff being posted, right? So like, and that's how these things start, right? Like, okay, that's a good idea. Like, that's a thing that I think most people can get behind. And it starts with that, and then it becomes this, oh, we're gonna not allow people to see anything that is not even sexual in nature, but deals with like the human body to any, even an educational extent. And so like, that's why we have to be so careful with these things. When I'm like, no, I agree that the people that are posting pornography should have proof that these people are consenting and that they are over 18, but we can't let these old like repressed white guys continue to like pull from that and exacerbate it and make it into this, well, all queer people are not consenting, so we don't post them, or whatever it is that they extrapolate from it.
Well,
It's exactly like police reforms that ask these institutions to establish, supposedly like processes of accountability for themselves, right? You're not interrogating you're not interrogating the class character of the institution.
I think it's important to note too that the same people that are totally on board with this stuff, the Zuckerbergs of the world, the Musks of the world, are all in behind like AI pornography that you can take pictures of your classmates. If
Yeah.
the Guardian just did a great piece on this, of it's like mass proliferation of children, teenagers, and
It's a
people older
huge
as well.
problem in high
taking pictures of
schools.
their
Yeah.
classmates and making pornography of them, and that these things allow them to, and they share it on there, and they're pushing that because it's making them a shit ton of money. Like, so it's always a question of like, what are these people really fucking doing?
This is why you should get a butt tattoo, so you can prove that it's not you.
That is, and it says butt tattoo that says "workers lit" on it.
That's right. Get the logo on your booty.
That's right.
First person to provide us with evidence of that gets free merch. Whenever we get around
That's
to making
fair.
that.
It doesn't even have to be on your butt.
Yeah, you could be anywhere. The Center for Democracy and Technology, I think their statement on this was a little too charitable, but it was like they did a really good write up on this trend that's coming. Because one thing they noted in this is the trend is incredibly bipartisan, especially, and I think even from some people supporting it, I think a lot of people supporting it online, especially like not political people, just whatever, or like, oh yeah, protect children from obscene material. Like that is an objectively good thing, as Jen was just saying. But like in theory, right? But what we call obscene may be different than what fucking Elon Musk calls obscene. It says, this is a well-intentioned effort to provide parents and children with access to tools intended to help keep children safe, a goal that we support. However, as currently written, these bills threaten to do more harm than good by exposing sensitive data of children to third-party actors with insufficient privacy safeguards and enabling extensive 24/7 monitoring of children and others' private online activity, risks chilling children's speech on unessential online services, and contains no privacy and data minimization protections for particular sensitive and large amounts of data at issue. It goes on to say that it could be very easily abused by even low-level employees of these major tech companies that could do some really fucked up stuff with it.
Yeah.
I also appreciate the more intense statement from the group Fight for the Future that said these lawmakers have stood by while kids are kidnapped, bombed, and go without food and health care. If they want to protect kids, there are any number of policies they could be pushing, but instead their answer has been fencing off the internet and threatening the online communities that so many marginalized kids depend on for connection, resources, and political speech. Under the guise of kids' safety, lawmakers are pushing a future where every single person, regardless of age, has to hand over their government ID, biometric data in order to get online, and the government has censorship powers over speech on social media. That is a dark, dark future. And techpolicy.com has already identified it many cases of trans people being harassed by the TSA into publicly coming out because of Trump's new rules around IDs, and have shown these laws are blocking trans people from accessing the internet at all in states where their gender on their ID does not mark the gender that they want to identify as on social media, or if they have to provide a picture of themselves and they don't look like a fucking, like they don't look like a girl because they've taken hormones, right, quote unquote, or they don't look like whatever's on their ID one way or another, then they can't get online. There's like large groups of trans people now that are having trouble actually accessing the internet because of this, or certain sites because of these blockages. And the more this is enforced, the more it's just going to push queer people off of the internet in general, which we know is like, I mean, I guess I can speak for myself here, was like, I think maybe the reason I didn't die as a child, like in like growing up in an evangelical like home, like in my late teens, like if I hadn't had like the ability to go online and be like, there are people who don't think that I'm like an abomination, like, and that's
exactly
important.
Yeah, I like Jacob, I grew up evangelical, and the access that the internet gave me, like I ended up in some heinous corners of the internet. I was a millennial growing up in the early 2000s. We all saw some shit that, sticks with us and we probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have seen, but also it provides access to music, to art, to other people. The best connection is just being able to connect with people like you. And to take that away, to de-anonymize that is a threat. And we owe it to ourselves. I mean, everybody owes it to have an internet where they're not being constantly patrolled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this idea of trans people specifically having to, like, not matching their ID or whatever, and like states are making it harder and harder to get your markers changed. Texas is right now, for no reason, compiling a list of people who have had their gender markers changed or have applied to. They didn't say why. They're just making a list. Just perfectly normal thing when we start putting people on lists, right?
Yeah, just gonna crack out that SQL query, no big deal.
Yeah, Virginia in the 1950s compiling racial data on people, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's normal. Yeah, we just like demographic data.
Yeah, we just gave ICE billions of dollars. No, don't look over here. Don't look at where we need to actually spend and use this money.
Including $300 million for the Secret Service to party at Mar-a-Lago.
Sweet.
Honestly,
Secret
I'm
Service fine with them doing that. If they just do that and leave us alone, by all means, go and just party. Have the best time.
What sounds cooler than a Secret Service party at Mar-a-Lago? It's the place all the hot people want to be.
Just a bunch of sweaty dudes.
I do like
and not in a cool way.
Not in a cool way. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Jacob. Yes. I didn't mean for that to sound appealing.
No, I love the Chapo explanation for why Mom Donnie's meeting with Trump went really well is because all of the people in the White House are so supremely unattractive that a nice young man with a smile and a suit can knock them dead. Like, good God, the Secret Service party there would be awful. Just uggos, 2 out of 10s the whole way.
I think it's the same reason that, like, when Trump met with the new president of Syria / former Al Qaeda guy Jelani, Trump was liked him, and he was like slapping him on the shoulder. He was like, oh man, it's like a handsome guy. He's a tall, handsome fellow. Like Jen said in a previous episode, so nice to finally have a queer president.
We did it.
Our queenie little bitch.
When you're a lifelong grifter, as our president is, and everybody in his orbit, you must be fascinated by anybody who has the courage of his convictions, or can at least, portray himself to be one. And it takes a lot of courage in your convictions to be an Al Qaeda guy. I don't agree with those convictions, certainly, but
Clip that. Clip Lenore. Clip Lenore saying that.
Stick to your guns is all you're saying.
Stick to your guns is crazy.
Yeah, we're talking about the LA hardcore band. Let's go.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I did really appreciate Trump the other day saying, like, when I met with President Xi of China, his assistants, he goes, they stayed quiet, they took notes. JD's always butting in. I thought that was one of the funniest things I'd ever heard. He hates everyone in his orbit, and it's beautiful that these people are so fucking miserable all the time.
And all Trump wants to do is just like watch Broadway plays and just talk about what people are wearing and the attitudes that they have. Like, you would think for a guy that's around the theater community and loves it that much, he'd be cooler with trans people, but he's not. What the hell, man?
I think he used to be. I think he used to, like, not care so much, but, like, this is what works for him to be successful in this grift or whatever, so, like, he's just leaned into it. I don't think he, like, ideologically gives a fuck,
Oh, yeah.
You know that lady that was like, I wish I could go back and be Vladimir Putin's mother? Like, could we have the dream to go back and be Donald Trump's, like, gay theater best friend in high school?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Though
I wouldn't
the
wish
way
that
he
job
is,
on anyone.
I could also imagine the way he is because of some gay theater best friend. Who knows what horrors.
Some twink broke his heart back in the
day. I forgot about the woman who said she wanted to be Putin's mom. That was such a good post. That was like the first day. It was the first day of the invasion of Ukraine.
Yeah, Wyckoff and Kushner keep striking out. What if we get her at the table?
I'm willing to try anything, you know?
Did y'all see any of the pictures from that Vanity Fair photo shoot with the entire administration?
Looking
No.
good.
Looking terrifying.
How did I not see this?
I just saw a TikTok about it. And like apparently, what is her name? Caroline Levitt. Like she's only 28.
Yeah.
Oh, she looks so bad.
I'm glad you
and,
said
like,
it because
Stephen
I'm not
Miller
going to.
is a vampire. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rough. They're all. You're right. They're all very.
These are jump scares.
Yeah. Stephen Miller, I'm sure I've mentioned this before. Stephen Miller has that same dead-eyed stare that a Goebbels has, you know, like
to channel my
got that.
Yeah, to channel my Trump, they may not like injections of estrogen, but some of them sure do like injections of Botox. Am I right?
Those are insane.
Those pictures are they look.
Wow.
I have heard someone joke that Trump gives everyone in his orbit dysphoria immediately. And I think it's like the Laura Loomer types, but
yeah, they're already probably taking so many drugs in that White House. Why not throw one more in your face?
I think that's a good idea. Well, I think with that, so, you know, talking about that tech policy stuff, I wanted to point up a friend of the show, Kurt Schiller, just wrote a really good article on Knife Point. As folks who, well, maybe I know Lenore and I are, we're fans of Blood Knife, R.I.P. Blood Knife. What a great magazine. Sorry that ended. But Knife Point is kind of his, every now and then, like he just sends out an email to people who are on the Blood Knife subscription list, and you can find it on like his site or on Substack. And it's called Architects of the Digital Ghostlands. A new age of the internet is coming. What we do with it is up to us. And you're like, what do we do about all this shit? He's got some really good practical solutions on there. Some great conversation about the past, how the internet has been overthrown multiple times and changed dramatically, how people have adjusted, and how also he makes a great point that just because the architecture is built, like the architecture is built to repress or to do X, does not mean it has to do that. Said Twitter was not designed to help people do like Occupy Wall Street protests, but it sure fucking did. You know what I mean? So he makes some great points about like, okay, let's look at the architecture, see the weak points, see what we can use, see what we can't use. And then he says, and if some of these platforms are just antithetical to us, like get the fuck off of them. You don't have to be on there. So highly recommend
the kids
reading
are
that.
all right. They're gonna, you know, we found ways around, you know, our schools walls or whatever like the kids will do it now with these things. The information cannot be killed.
I've got to share a great story right now. I don't think I've ever shared this before. Because I had my internet was kind of restricted, not kind of, it was very restricted growing up. In late high school, there was kind of had the like Covenant Eyes. Pigeon might know what that one is. Christian tracker app.
There was like a K9 one or something. I had an accountability group that we all shared one, and that was horrific.
Wait,
I had K9, that going on.
Like, is this like evangelical censorship for dogs?
I think they're trying to go off like the crime dog sort of thing of like, ooh, a K9's watching you, like.
Yeah, Covenant Eyes would just be like send like suspicious what links you went to whatever. Anyway, I made a Pinterest account and I used it to like look at hot men.
Hell yeah.
And it would just send Pinterest, and they're like, wow, Jacob sure likes Pinterest, which honestly should be a gay tell anyway.
Fair, totally fair.
Anyway,
that pivotal moment of just going on YouTube and typing girls kissing.
Love it. Lenore, last week on the show, we mentioned a vote was coming up in Arlington, Texas. The results came down. They were unfortunately not what we were hoping for. Could you speak on that for a minute here?
Yeah, Arlington, Texas, of course, my my hometown way back. It's a big one. I think it's still the 50th largest city in the country. It's about 400,000 people, and there was a vote recently on whether or not to keep an ordinance or language in an anti-discrimination ordinance protecting LGBT people. And this language would have prevented employers and lodging businesses from discriminating against people for their sexual orientation, for their gender identity. I'm quoting here from the Texas Tribune, their article from the 9th. Yeah, the ordinance was passed in 2021. And the vote to overturn it was delayed twice, from September and then into November, and then last week was when it went down. And this came again. I was thinking about this, Pigeon, when you mentioned the universities complying with Trump's executive orders, which again don't have the force of law. It's just instructions for how executive agencies are to conduct themselves, and of course are eminently challengeable. But yeah, in a very, very similar way, Arlington City Council feared that around $60 million in federal funding was under threat because of Trump's executive orders telling cities to strip out DEI. They already had indeed lost a $50,000 grant that contained the word inclusive earlier this year. Jacob, couldn't help but think of what you have to go through, making sure that these things are like written in just the way that broccoli-headed Doge kids don't nix it.
I really appreciated a grant in Georgia that almost got overturned because it had the word barrier in it. They thought they were like word searching it. It was talking about dams on the water. Anyway,
that is a barrier to our success, and it needs to be removed.
That was like on the words they were fucking AI searching. They were like, "That's woke," and it's like the woke dam keeping the savannah from being underwater, like in fucking American War by Omar El Akkad, friend of the pod. Go listen to it. It's a good
Not
book.
one federal penny to the fucking DEI beavers.
Yes.
But yeah, so by a very narrow 5-4 vote, we're seeing a lot of those lately. The city council did overturn these protections, and yeah, there goes the recourse to the city if you're fired because you're gay, if you're not housed because you're trans, and again, not because anything with any force of law, not because of any direct not because of any direct threat to federal funding overall. It's hard for me to overstate just how much force that there is in being a city and saying, we're going to do this and see you in court. We've had similar conversations about rent control here in Atlanta, right? If there's no institutional push for this sort of stuff, if there's no taking the federal government to court, if one or another city council member or city council writ large doesn't go to the mat for people, what recourse do you have precisely?
Mm-hmm. And there was that moment, being in Maine at the governor's thing, Governor Mills had the "I'll see you in court" moment, and that was about the Department of Education withholding funds from universities and schools in regarding the inclusion of transgender students on the team or access to the bathroom of their choice. Like this, they have a lot of arms out, and you're like, right, that the obeying in advance is so infuriating from these people, because there are going to be litigations, and you can't just strip this stuff away from people and at least not have it be on the record.
And you can win in court. It does happen, and sometimes you don't win, but it's like worth dragging it out. It's like a lot of times they want to go after the low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Like compliance is required for them to enforce stuff. And like the thing is, like, the Trump administration came into office and like smashed a lot of infrastructure through which to enforce things. So actually a lot of their like arms for like grabbing and enforcing are quite weak if you just kind of shrug them off. I mean, like, certain colleges that have pushback have found out, no, actually our doors don't get fucking closed. No, actually, like, you know what I mean? Like, there are actually things you can do about it. Now, as we have said on the show, a lot of the reasons that colleges like Columbia University comply is because they fucking want to. comply, right? A lot of their administration agrees with, or at least is in line with some of this stuff.
A
But my
lot of their
point is, like,
donors want it.
exactly. But you can point back, you can push back on this. It works. It works on the individual level. And like these people can be like these people can be stopped. The enforcement is actually tough, especially at the granular level. You got to keep pushing back.
And they can make it harder to exist, but trans people are still going to go on the internet. They still got to piss somewhere. Try as you like, but you're not going to stop us all.
Exactly. Well, speaking of court, and court wins, I did want to close this out with some good news. This is polling from Fafix Collins at LGBTQ Nation. And this has been after a real fight here in Georgia. One that I had an honor to play a very small part in advocacy around this and putting some pressure on this, but a lot of people have over the last couple of years done a lot of work on this. But Georgia Senate Bill 185 that bans trans health care for prisoners in Georgia has been beaten by activists pressuring the courts.
Let's go.
Like we said, you can win court fights sometimes, especially when the judge thinks people might show up at their house and protest, like that they want to, like, or their office, or it's going to send the mail. Like the judges at the end of the day,
listeners, these people are very easy to find.
Right, judge it, like, and like I don't even mean like we're not even saying anything illegal. Like, just annoy them. Like
the scariest thing to them is sidewalk chalk.
Right, like these, it genuinely scares them, and they genuinely don't want to be inconvenienced. Right. There are roughly 300 out trans people in Georgia prisons. Certainly there are
a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know it's such a small percentage of the population. That just tells me how many people are in prison in Georgia.
Georgia has a pretty large prison. We've actually been shipping prisoners to Alabama and Mississippi because our prisons keep overflowing, and they're asking to build a new prison here in Atlanta because the last one, they're saying that the reason people keep dying in Fulton County, the Fulton County lockup, is because there's not enough space. And it's like, well, maybe stop arresting people for no fucking reason. Anyway, like stop arresting people for like running bail funds. Don't don't break into people's homes, GSP, and throw flashbangs at them because they ran bail funds online. Those people did get off, but still got flashbanged. But all that to say, Judge Victoria Calvert agreed with the plaintiffs that the blanket ban violated the Eighth Amendment, which bars cruel and unusual punishment. The finding said the court finds that there is no genuine dispute of fact that gender dysphoria is a serious medical need. Plaintiffs, through their experts, have presented evidence that a blanket ban on hormone therapy constitutes grossly inadequate care for gender dysphoria and risks imminent injury. Now, a staff attorney for the Center for Constitutional Rights, Celine Zhu, who worked on this case directly and helped pull together those aforementioned experts, helped stand up for these people who, let's just be honest, a lot of these people in prison had no capacity to stand up for themselves, don't have the capital to do it. Obviously, they're not free to do it. Said, we would never allow a state to decide that people in prison with diabetes should be cut off of insulin just because the state didn't want it to happen anymore. So why would we allow Georgia to cut off medically required care for people with a similarly serious diagnosis of gender dysphoria? And that was a fight that I genuinely did not think we were going to win in Georgia. I'm just going to be honest. And it could get appealed up. Very, very well could. But I just remember, like, when we did protests around this and we had speak outs about this and did leafleting about this, I annoyed the hell out of some people in little 5 points about it, but like letting people know and like getting people to call the particular judge and things like that. And certainly, like, you know, raising money for the Center for Constitutional Rights and stuff like that. Didn't seem like it was going to get anywhere. And like, it fucking did, because sometimes when you push back, these people actually do hand it to you, because at the end of the day, they don't believe in their shit as hard as we believe in ours. I really think that. I really think at the end of the day, they are lazier. Maybe some of the Christians do, but like a lot of these people are lazy. A lot of these people get worn out, and they can be fucking beaten. They really can.
I think there's also just a lot of online chatter. Like, I don't know how much pull the dead internet theory has, but I feel like there's just a lot of bots making a lot of noise. And when people actually show up in person, you can make a difference. And it's really cool that you got at least a conclusion for now. That's sick. I like to hear that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point you made. Like that they, the right, the whatever, the oppressors, aren't as committed to the project or whatever. And I've been reading a lot about like decolonization lately, and like the people fighting for their freedom are always gonna care more than the people
Yeah.
trying to oppress them, right? So like even though the oppressors have all the money and power, like the people that are on the ground that are fighting against this to get the boot off of their neck are always going to be more motivated to fight, which is heartening, I think, in a lot of ways.
History is not inevitable. It is created by all of us taking action, and not to get like too Marxist about it, but there are material places, there are hinge points, there are pressure points where you can apply, and there are, if they want us to play by the rules, there are ways that we can find victory, and we got to take it where we can get it.
Mm-hmm. I love that. You want to hear the prison numbers I just looked up?
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, that's a lot of trans people in Georgia prison. How many people are in prison in Georgia? The answer is 95,000. 95,000 people in jails and prisons in Georgia. And so I wanted to compare that to Texas. Texas is obviously bigger. I think we know that. We have 219,000. So looking at it proportionally to population, Texas has 751 prisoners per 100,000 citizens. Georgia has 881.
Gosh.
Y'all have a much higher incarceration rate.
Mm-hmm.
So, way to beat us.
Yeah, I guess so. Georgia number one. We were also last year the number one place for small business owners, which I'm not,
Woohoo!
in theory. I like some small. I think not to be a dick, but also small business owners. When they say that, they usually don't mean someone who's selling art on Etsy. They mean like the worst car dealership owner you've ever met in your entire life.
Yeah, they mean the private prison contractor.
Yeah.
Right.
Have I ever told you? I know I've told Lenore this. I got offered a job, so in college, a lot of college stories today. I was, I did activism in college, and I was like semi-known in town. I mean, Milledgeville is not a big town, so like, people kind of know a face. Geo Group, the private prison group, has a big station in Milledgeville, alongside their juvenile detention facility, and they like offered me a job there, like outright out of college, like trying to help with like basically DEI at like Geo Group, because the year was 2021, and like that was the thing we were doing. They were probably going to get some kind of Biden administration grant for like putting pronouns
Probably,
on like prison uniforms. They offered me like $75K right out of college to do that shit. And I'm like,
wow.
Obviously I said no, but I'm like, this is how like people fucking this is how it happens. It really is sinister to see that shit work.
Yeah. It's like, dang it, we wanted to abolish the prisons, not abolish the DEI policies at said prisons.
Abolish gender inside the prison. Think about that. Yeah. Oh my god.
More non-binary ICE agents.
They will not defeat us, and by they, I mean.
Excellent. Well, I agree they will not defeat us. Does anyone have any final thoughts here? And then we're gonna...
No, I think the fight for trans liberation and the fight for queer liberation, we have to remember, I just feel like it's an intersectional battle. We need each other. And you're right. I think we want this more. It matters to us more. And the more we fight, the more you get people talking. Like, I am so grateful that I've been able to come hang out with y'all for a bit and advocate and talk about this stuff, because it's what we need right now. It's how we get through, is together.
And yeah, thank you for coming on. And as well, like it's as long as we're on the subject of talking about stuff, like so much of the confusion and so much of the obfuscation surrounding all this, the idea that like the internet is like 99% tub girl, and that's why we need to censor it in this particular way. Like it's part and parcel of epistemicide, right? It's the attack on LGBT rights is fueled by the total domination that these people have over what we are, what it's like to be us, what we do. And so where the fight back against that starts is just being louder, being unapologetic about what it is to be us, and
Just being normal.
and to reframe, to reframe our experiences in our terms and our words for for many of us the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
The
Transgender
way,
for everybody.
yes, the
Transgender
way
for
out is
everybody.
through education, and if that means more trans people get to exist, how beautiful to crack those eggs.
Absolutely. Well, let me see. I can do a segue. I know I can. I've got nothing, but people should listen to Two Wits, One Cup. It's a good show.
Yeah, we
Pigeon, tell
take
people
the
one more
piss.
time where to find you on that stuff.
Yeah, come. So we're wherever you can find podcasts. Two Wits, One Cup, a queer exvangelical podcast. We get a little raunchy. We get a little fun. Like I said, we've got a Christmas episode that we've got coming out. Be cool for you to check out. Come hang out with Percy and Parsnip. And I love this rebrand. I think the content you guys are putting out is really cool. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it. Jacob was on Two Wits, One Cup. We'll have to have you back at some point. I'm sure there's more episodes you would love
Oh yeah,
to hate to discuss.
no doubt. Pigeon, I'm sure I'm not the first to inform you that they announced a movie, right?
Oh, good Lord. Oh, praise
Yeah.
be unto him. Oh God, the content.
Adventures.
Oh no.
Did you see Young Wit, The Art of Young Wit?
Oh God, no, but I bet it's cursed. It's like cursed AI stuff. Right.
Kate, he's hot. Like, I'm not
Oh
kidding. He's hot. They
no.
made him hot, and they
Oh.
made him like a little muscly. Which
Percy's
led
gonna
to
have a
some-
field day with this.
No,
Oh, fuck
the
off.
Adventures in Odyssey Facebook group, the Adventures in Odyssey closed Facebook group, which I have a friend who sends me messages from, who's in there, said that there's like people on there that are like complaining. They were like, Wit spends so much time with the Bible. He doesn't have time to do vain things like the weight room. And I'm like, yes, I love it that they're fighting. I love it.
Vain things like the weight room. God.
You know, folks, you might think this show's not relevant. Why would you talk about Adventures in Odyssey? What a silly. Folks, I found out recently that it's one of the most popular podcasts. The Adventures in Odyssey podcast is one of the most popular podcasts to listen to at the Pentagon, and I'm not kidding. The amount of evangelicals that are work at the Pentagon, they still listen to it. It's fucking embarrassing. But
There's your new pizza index.
A lot of people of Pete Hegseth's staff still listen to this children's evangelical radio drama.
It's a little known fact. This didn't make it into the 9/11 Commission, but they were actually aiming for the Imagination Station and missed.
A second wit, a third wit has hit Andre Stoica. Oh yeah,
Incredible.
Fuck.
But
Well,
it takes a lot of cross sections, and like a lot of these Trump administration people are staffed by like people that the Heritage Foundation trained up, that they are
That's
in
right.
these like auxiliary forces and organizations like Focus on the Family, like these other militant TPUSA stuff, and they are all imbibing this culture, and someone's got to push back on it. So we're trying,
Absolutely.
you're trying, comrades in the struggle, I suppose.
Hell yeah. Well, Lenore, do you have any clever sign off for us today?
I don't. Just whoever may be in Arlington listening, do what you can.
Do what you can. See you, folks.